All right. We're going live. So a lot of people have brought up and asked me a bunch of things about Corona and preparation for Corona and different things. I wanted to do one episode that made this really easy to kind of get your head around. But first, I want to thank all the sponsors last week, everybody. The guests were amazing. If you haven't had a chance to check out the guest list, amazing guest list I had. You know, so many great people from around the industry. It really, I said this to somebody the other day, it really has become a masterclass in understanding not just the firearms business, but just kind of where we're at. So I wanted to take a minute to give everybody a little insight, but head over to www.johnbartoloshow.com if you get time, and do yourself a favor to leave a review. It helps me out, and it enters you into different contests that we're doing all the time. So put your IG or Twitter handle or a way I can find you in your comments, and you'll be eligible. So a few things. A lot of people have asked me, different things along the way, what to buy, what makes sense, what to do. Of course, the basics come up, and we've talked about this before. But I wanted to do something a little out of the box. This isn't necessarily meant to be a cheat sheet per se for anybody, but just more if you're starting from scratch and you don't know what you need from, I guess you'd say, like a little bit of a survivalist mentality, but you can only get a couple of things. You can only have a few things. These are just kind of suggestions. Now, you can debate all day long, the things that I'm going to suggest, but they're suggestions just based on observations that I've made in the marketplace. I'm thinking these things make sense, make some sense. I want to get your thoughts. I want you to, I'm just answering a message here. So I can get this done. Working on a different guest for tomorrow. So here's we'll get right into it. We'll dive right in. But I'm going to leave all these links down below, okay, for each one of them. But here's the suggestions. For starters, everybody asks about a firearm. What firearm should I get? What makes sense? What should I buy, John? I'm going to go get a handgun. I'm going to go get this. What you're using it for is going to be the most important thing. But if you were looking for one gun to cover a lot of bases, or you were looking for one thing that might make a lot of sense, anybody who knows me knows I'm in love with lever action. I know there'll be people out there that'll say a 22. There'll be people out there that'll say this. They'll say buy a Glock handgun, and they're right. They're not wrong. Absolutely right. My suggestion to a lot of people is get something that's a very versatile cartridge on a very versatile platform. And I suggest to a lot of people something that has never really failed me and made a lot of sense, and you get the most bang for your buck. You can use it hunting. It has great terminal ballistics. It's got great everything. I suggest to a lot of people the Henry 4570 side gate. Now, if you're not familiar with the Henry, or you're not familiar with the platform, this is how I've built mine up. And to the folks on YouTube, so this is a relatively new offering from Henry. I suggest it for a number of reasons. Henry supports the show, but I've always loved the 4570 cartridge. You can pretty much hunt anything in North America. For most people, if they're new to firearms, striker fire scares them. They don't necessarily want to go out and buy an AR. I am telling you, you will be a hero on the range at all times for showing up with that. And it's a phenomenal firearm. And it's built, the construction, the reliability, it's none. So, you could put a scope on it. You don't have to. It has, modern sights on it. And you can they offer a number of 4570s. The one I just showed you is the side gate. I recommend it to a lot of folks, and the price point's amazing. It's about $900. So you can get something that accomplishes a lot. You can use it hunting. You can use it for self-defense. You can use it on your porch. You can use it for a number of things. And, people ask me all the time, like, what makes sense. And that 4570 round is amazing. Okay, you can pretty much drop anything with it. I mean, you can get into the debate all day about what. So, you know, that's my 2 cents on a firearm. I mounted this here with a Vortex optic, and as I said, I'll send you the links for everything down below. The next thing people gravitate towards is a knife. They say, you know, what knife do I need? Do I need a blade, John? I feel like I need something, you know, to defend myself. You know, I took a look out there, and I've never actually, you know, thought about it. And this isn't, you know, people know Microtech supports the show, but I wanted to show you something that I thought was something you may need all around, both for survival and for a number of things. There's a number of smaller offerings out there, but I suggested the El Shetty blade from Tops. Now, this is an amazing, amazing blade. I can't even get it in the full frame. It's amazing. I mean, you can use this in so many ways, so many different capacities. And self-defense, you can use it to chop down a frickin' decent-sized piece of wood, anything. It's enormous. I wouldn't call it a utility blade, but there's so much you can get out of it. And the amount of times you can sharpen it and reuse it and you know, take it with you on a backcountry hunt. You know, I just look for, you know, a lot of this stuff comes from if this carries on and you had to hunt for your own food, you had to forage, you had to do different things. I wanted to put a list together that was like, you can only buy one of these. So being very honest, you can only get one. So I wanted to put together a list that made sense. And to me, that just makes some sense. So take a look at it, the El Shetty blade from Tops Knives, and I'll put the link down below. But it's the build of it is just amazing. The construction of it is just amazing. Then, of course, people ask me all day long about plate carriers. Now, again, all this stuff is interchangeable. You may be an AR-15 guy, and you may say, John, you're crazy. I'm not going to buy a lever action. You know, that's stupid. I own an AR. Okay, fine. You know, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. This is just more a list of just me looking at the marketplace at different things out there that I would think I would enjoy, or I would want to have if I had one going through this, or I only, you know, could purchase one item. So the next thing, you know, I took a look out there. I looked at a lot of different things. Everybody knows I have a lot of different plate carriers. This one made a lot of sense to me. I took a long look at the London Bridge Trading and London Bridge Tactical product line, and everybody's familiar with LBT. This is one of their black multicam bags I really enjoyed. I took a look at it. It's the perfect size for putting a few things in, and the reason I looked at the bag and the plate carrier was I really liked how interchangeable they were. So you could take off and you could remove these panels on the front, this construction here, right off the bag. If you didn't want to run this panel, you could remove it pretty simply, and you could attach it to the plate carrier. It moved, and the system moves around really easily, really conveniently. So if you didn't want to run this, and let's say you wanted to take this and put it on the plate carrier, you could put it on the plate carrier. And the plate carrier is light. It's super versatile. It's an LBX tactical product. It's a phenomenal product. It's a black multicam. I've had these in the past. I've run them in the past. The construction is what sticks with you. It's, you know, the weaving and the stitching, everything about it, the handle, everything about it is just really great. And I love over-molded, overbuilt stuff. I've run them in the past. I have a bunch of different ones. I just like the ability to remove all the panels and move the panels onto different stuff. So there's tons of different products out there. I'm actually in love, too, with the product from Tac Taylor as well. They make a great product. They're coming out with a great product that's very modular. So what I look for is like a modular system that I can move a lot of things around. Now, this is assuming you may have to leave the home, you may have to travel, you may have to do things, whatever. So I try to put it all in perspective. I just rattled off 3 items, really for a bag and a plate carrier. So we went through the Henry rifle, the 4570. We went through the scope that it has on it. It's Vortex, so that's 2. The El Shetty from Tops, and also the London Bridge products and all their gear. Now, the London Bridge stuff, just so everybody knows, is there's the London Bridge tactical line, which is phenomenal, and you can check out, a lot of their different products. I know people say, well, their stuff's expensive, and it is expensive. It's not cheap, and if you're going to buy something, buy it once and get it right. And they overuse the term buy once, cry once, and that's a term that's like insanely overused. So live by that. The product line from LBX, the modular plate carrier system, allows people to just remove and swap those panels and do different things. So anytime you're in the field or you're getting ready to potentially travel, or you may have to wear these and actually use them, which most people, they sit in their closet, you want to have something that you can change stuff around, move pieces around. Now, you may say, John, that plate carrier has AR-15 mag pouches in it, but you say carry a 4570. You can swap those panels around. You may still have your AR, but I highly recommend a 4570. An AR has limitations both in hunting and in capability with ballistics. So you have to understand that, the ballistic capability. Now, kind of lastly, but not lastly, ammo. There's a lot of different ammo manufacturers out there, and there's a lot of great ammo to buy. If you're on a budget and you're trying to find the best ammo, I've worked with many different ammo companies and, many different holster companies, many different brands. There's a lot of great brands out there to use. Now, I can't get into all day long, the different holsters, the why. We could spend a whole episode on that. My suggestions are mainly suggestions. So when people read into them or people watch this, they're going to say, oh, you should really recommend Kydex, or you should recommend, Hornady, or you should recommend this, or you should recommend Winchester. I recommend the ammo that gets shipped to my door right now. So one of the ammo companies I like, and I've recently tried some of the product, is Blackwater Ammunition. If you get a chance, check out Blackwater. They make a phenomenal product. They make a great product. They have a wide selection of different calibers, and it's their price points. They're not gouging people. I look out there in the space, and so many people are in the business of gouging people like crazy. I suggest to a lot of people, buy ammunition that you can get easily, shipped to your door, inexpensively, and they're not going to gouge you. And if you have the opportunity, get on a consistent program. I talked a little bit about this with Neil at Ready Gunner. Have your min-maxes for your house. If you're sitting on 2,000 or 3,000 rounds of each caliber, you're probably good. It's not going to hurt you to get an order in now if possible. And look out there into the space, get an order and get on a wait list and start to set yourself up. And a lot of people don't necessarily understand, that it's important to maintain that. Now, you may have a whole slew of knives. You may say, John, you're crazy. Why are you recommending the Tops El Shetty? There's 100 other knives from Tops. It's a great versatile knife. Like I said, you can chop a tree down with it. You can use it to hunt. You can use it for a bunch of different things. You can use it in so many different capacities. Yes, it's not going to be ideal to use on an animal. It's not going to be ideal to use as a pry bar per se. But those are all different conversations, and we can go down rabbit holes with things I would suggest. You didn't suggest water purification. These suggestions are the bare bones, the bare basics that I'm trying to suggest. When I suggest a plate carrier, I'm trying to suggest something that's simple, that's modular, that makes a lot of sense. And when I look out into the space, there's a lot of great carriers. And I'm not a homer. When I looked out there, I had so many different options to look at. But when I looked at the Armitage plate carrier from LBX Tactical, I saw a plate carrier that had a nice price point at about $250. It had the ability to be modular. It had the ability to be anything I wanted it to be if I swapped out the panels and moved the panels around. Add in the backpack, and now you have the ability to make a lot of different setups. And that's what I like. So to everybody out there, they may say, oh, John, I saw you in a First Spear. Yeah, I like the First Spear product. as a standalone product. Or, oh, John, isn't your friend 221B Tactical? Yes, I like his product as well. But there's different uses. So if I was talking to someone and I said, you can only buy one thing, people might say, well, you should get a Glock 19. Well, that person would be right, of course, for self-defense or for home or anything else. But if you can only have one, the reason I suggest the Henry 4570 is I challenge anybody out there. How many times have you had to do maintenance on a lever gun? How powerful is the 4570 cartridge? Ballistically, it can pretty much drop anything in North America. So if you had to go anywhere, that gun's going to work for you. You need a backpack in some capacity. Wouldn't you like one that you could swap out the panels very easily using Velcro and using clips? If you had to have a blade, don't you want one that you could chop a tree down with and potentially use to hunt? So there's a lot of different thought processes out there, a lot of people with different ideas. I respect all of them. I welcome all your comments. I'll put all these companies down below. I suggest them to anybody. I suggest anybody take a look at these different brands. They have done a phenomenal job. And again, this podcast isn't for people out there, or this YouTube isn't for people out there that have multiple of everything in their house, because they're going to have different thoughts. And it's not meant to be a zombie invasion podcast. I'm trying to give you ideas of what's accessible, what's out there, what people can get their hands on. So these items would make a lot of sense. I could spend an hour on toilet paper. I could spend an hour on bleach. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to suggest 4 or 5 or 6 different things. And then people could say, well, John, what about a bow? Yeah, you could go buy a bow. Yeah, you can go do those things. That's a different setup. But these things are just kind of things that I think make a lot of sense, and I think people out there would agree. So I hope everybody likes the list. I hope everybody enjoys the list. And I hope everybody's enjoyed the guest this past week. Fighting off a sneeze. Head off to www.johnbartoloshow.com. I'm going to list some of these companies down below. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you give them some love. And, hopefully everybody's doing well out there. I'll be talking to a lot of you guys soon, and I hope everybody out there that takes the time right now to enjoy it. And don't overthink this thing. Make sure you get yourself a hobby. I mentioned in a past podcast, tinker, have some fun, enjoy yourself. It's a great time to go rent some movies, get a puzzle. Everybody talks about watching Netflix. Occupy your time, use your time wisely, and tune into maybe some podcasts or some self-help stuff that you haven't, that you want to. Start that business that you haven't, that you want to. Be smart. All the stuff I just showed you can run you anywhere around $1,000 to $2,000 to outfit yourself. Can you find cheaper options? Absolutely. But I can't thank everyone enough. Go ahead and leave a review. Let me know your thoughts, what you guys think. And I'll be back Monday with some great guests.